of the day and usher the brightness into the darker moments. That makes sense. Bring the light into the darkness to gain clarity. But on Hanukkah, we follow a very different path. We wait for night to fall before we light the candles. We do not leverage the day's light to combat dark. Instead, we light the Hanukkah candles when it is pitch dark. And in doing so, we transform the darkness into light. How is it possible when there seems to be no external source of light to actually transform darkness into light? It made sense when we had daylight and brought it into the dark, but dark from light, how does it work? On Hanukkah, we come to the profound realization that, ladies and gentlemen, the light is not outside. It is you. You are a source of light. Yes, I repeat, each and every one of us are a source of light. Within the heart and soul of each of us resides an eternal cruise of pure oil, undamaged, wholesome, and holy. Sometimes it's too small to be seen. Sometimes it is buried, out of sight, but it is always, always there. Our job, even when surrounded by profound obscurity and thick darkness, is to dig deep inside and rescue this internal source of light. From this pure oil, that single first flame, we can in turn ignite an infinite number of other flames. Yes, we make a big deal out of the Hanukkah lights because it reminds us of our power and our duty to transform darkness into light. How relevant is it today? I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it feels quite dark, right? Sometimes it feels that the thickness of this obscurity is just too much. In the tragic situations we see unfolding, we're dancing in a nova on Simchat Torah or lighting a Hanukkah candle on the beach becomes a risk to our own very lives. We choose to be actors, not victims. We choose to create the situation, not to be passive about it. Just like the famous oil, we are called to rise above, transcend, withstand, overcome it with joy. When darkness prevails, then we will be the light ourselves. Respectfully, I said it, respectfully, be unapologetic, be a Jew with chutzpah, respectfully, but be a Jew with chutzpah. Be a proud and public Jew. Embrace your singularity, honor your difference, celebrate your Jewishness with joy, educate your children to cherish their Jewish identity, and never forget, contribute to the rest of humanity always, and be the light so that darkness could vanish. Thank you. Well, this beautiful ceremony would have never been possible without the determination and dedication of Avita Will, EJCC Director, and my dear husband. Thank you for your efforts. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Nechama. President von der Leyen, thank you for making Euro Hanukkah a key celebration with your distinguished presence, with your light. It truly means a lot to us. And thank you for your leadership. Rabbi Margolin, Israeli ambassador, Excellencies, dear friends, this Hanukkah, I wish to make a personal dedication in memory of my dear friend, Rabbi Eli Schlanger, from Bondi Beach, Sydney. As we used to say to one another when we were students, L'chaim to you, Eli. Thank you for the kindness and humanity you brought into the world. We will continue your work and carry your flame forward with your sweetness and your smile. As we light the menorah tonight, you are with us in our thoughts and in our hearts. Hanukkah tells the story of those who were me'atim v'chalashim, a people small in number and vulnerable, yet brave and resolute. Against forces far greater than themselves, they stood for their identity and their freedom. Hanukkah teaches that history is not shaped only by numbers or power, but by conviction, memory, and the courage to persist and celebrate life. This story is not only ancient, it is profoundly contemporary. For more than 2,000 years, Jews were a visible part of Europe's landscape. In Roman times, Jews formed nearly 5% of Rome, around 10% of major Greek cities, and up to 3% of Spain's population. On the eve of the Shoah, Europe was home to 9.5 million Jews, nearly 2% of its population, and far more in many of its greatest cities. After the Shoah, less than a third remained. Decade after decade, the numbers continue to fall. Today, Europe is home to roughly 1.3 million Jews, about 0.2% of its population. This is the unprecedented smallest Jewish presence Europe has known in 2 millennia. At the same time, what is growing sharply and visibly are anti-Semitic incidents across Europe. The flame must be protected and nurtured today more than ever. This reality obliges us to speak with clarity, but it does not define us. We are few, but we are present. We might be vulnerable, but we are resilient. And we carry something that cannot be diminished, the capacity to bring light. In Jewish tradition, light is not abstract. It is created through action, and even some friction. Each act of kindness, each mitzvah, each neighborly gesture, each commitment to dialogue becomes a flame. And together these flames can change the narrative. This is why we say today in confidence, yes, there will be a future for Jewish life in Europe. Not as a promise made by others, but as a commitment we ourselves uphold. Through engagement, openness, joy, and pride, it is in this spirit that we are establishing the European House of Jewish Culture here within the living circle of Europe's institutions near the Berlaymont. Its purpose is not only to recall the past, but to make it present, to reflect 2,000 years of Jewish life woven into Europe's story, to be a place of learning and encounter, a house for dialogue, where neighbors become partners, and a home where the future is born. And yes, there is a future for Europe, a union of peace, dignity, and shared values. Together, we can continue to build a Europe that is free, democratic, and faithful to its heritage and its soul. A Europe where no one must hide who they are, and where Jewish life is visible, joyful, proud, and secure. Tonight, as we light these candles, we affirm a simple truth. There is darkness, and there is light, and light endures. Happy Hanukkah, and I wish you all a meaningful holiday season with your loved ones.
Thank you very much, Avi. I hope you heard well, right? The European House of Jewish Culture, right? Okay, stay tuned. Something really cool is happening. I have the honor of inviting Mrs. Ursula von der Leyen, who has already made history as the first ever president of the European Commission to light the Euro menorah. President, your presence at our side is profoundly meaningful. Thank you for being here. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, dear Nehama. Cher Bourgmestre, Rabbi Tavil, Rabbi Marjolin, thank you for inviting me. I'm so honored to celebrate this holiday with you and light these candles. Hanukkah teaches us that a small light can push back a great deal of darkness. And this week, that lesson is sorely needed. I was devastated by the horrific shooting in Australia on Bondi Beach. It is simply heartbreaking. And as I light the Hanukkah this year, my thoughts are with the victims, their families, and their friends. May the memory of those who are lost be a blessing, and may these Hanukkah lights remind us of the strength, the resilience, and the courage of the Jewish community in Australia, in Brussels, and around the world. We share your grief and we stand with you. Tonight it is all the more important to celebrate this holiday joyfully and publicly. The best place for Hanukkah, I am told, is the window of a house in public sight. This is because the lights of Hanukkah are meant to be shared, to illuminate the streets and spaces around us. But today, too many Jews do not feel safe to light a Hanukkah in the window, or wear kippah in public, or a Star of David around their necks. Many must walk past armed guards to attend the synagogue and worry about sending their children to school. The night around us has indeed grown dark. The old evil is once again rearing its head. There can be no place for the poison of anti-Semitism, especially in Europe. Because freedom of worship, freedom of speech, freedom from fear, these are fundamental to our European Union. And today, this is our responsibility. We must ensure that Hanukkah can shine from windows across the continent, just as this one shines in Brussels tonight. In times when Jewish life is so much under pressure, I welcome all the more the creation of the House of Jewish Life in the heart of the European Quarter, dear Nehama and dear Avi. Because let me be very clear, Jewish history is European history. Jewish culture is European culture. And Jewish life must be able to flourish for Europe to flourish fully. This is something which is enshrined in our European Union. And this work starts with safety and security, particularly for places of worship. Our union provides ongoing support for security at synagogues and other religious sites, but more must be done to bring all communities to the same level of preparedness. So we will continue to invest in practical protection measures because, my dear friends, praying should be a matter of belief, not an act of bravery. We are also working to fight anti-Semitic speech online with a dedicated network of trusted flaggers. We need to do more to prevent online manipulation of young people and vulnerable groups. And this is why next month we will launch new measures to prevent and counter radicalization and anti-Semitic narratives, so that hate no longer festers and spreads. Safety measures like these are the first necessary steps. But we must go further. Hanukkah teaches us that when darkness gathers, we light the candle. This is true today. One of the strongest antidotes to anti-Semitism is a bright, thriving Jewish community. One of the strongest antidotes is this Jewish community to be present, to be seen. So in addition to these protective measures, our union is supporting Jewish history, Jewish culture, and education, and we are finding more opportunities to celebrate Jewish life in public. The last time I joined you at this ceremony, I made a promise. I made the promise that we would establish a prize to celebrate Jewish cultural heritage and its central role in shaping European identity. Well, tonight I'm glad to say that in 2026 we will announce the first winner of the Simon Weil Prize for European Jewish Cultural Heritage. And it was Simone Weil herself who said, "Le judaïsme a pris plus de place pour les valeurs qu'il m'a apporté ces valeurs de tolérance, de liberté d'esprit, de démocratie." Tolerance, freedom of mind, democracy. These are Jewish values. These are European values. And we will continue working to ensure they shape our public life. Dear friends, in a moment after we have lit the candles, we will hear music. For as much as this holiday honors perseverance and courage, it is also a celebration. Music, laughter, good food, and good friends. These are the brightest lights of the season, our candles against the dark. I wish the blessings of this holiday to all who celebrate. Thank you so much again, and Chak Saimach. It could be pronounced better.
Chag Sameach. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. Thank you.
Hanukkah falls in the season of gifts, right? So several years ago, in this exact place, you received your own menorah, and you lit it in your office.
Yes.
We remember that, and we were very touched. So this year, we wanted to give you something meaningful and original, and it's our children who are going to be giving it to you. Les enfants, pouvez venir. Venez par là, Avi and Menachem, if we can get some help, because it's quite precious. So,
hey, hello, bonjour. Bonjour, bonjour. Attention, ne tombez pas.
So you are receiving what we call, President, a dreidel. Okay? This is a dreidel. It's a crystal one. Yes. It's a crystal, beautiful dreidel. And as you could see, it has 4 faces. And this dreidel is actually customary. You can see all the little children here have also their own little dreidels with their little candies inside. It is customary every Hanukkah to play with the dreidel, because back then in the days during the time of Hanukkah, Jewish children were not allowed to study Torah, and they were still studying Torah. But when they were seen, they were faking that they are playing dreidels. So now the dreidel on Hanukkah has 4 faces. And it has 4 Hebrew letters for Nes Gadol Haya Sham, meaning a great miracle happened there. And what we want is a great miracle to happen here. So we're giving it to you.
You're so right.
So these are the children who come to the Sunday school, and they wanted to take a picture with you. So this is Lilith. Bonjour Lilith. She wants a picture with the president. Venez les enfants. Barak, viens ici. Viens ici, chérie. Barak, viens par là, chérie. Venez, venez. Venez par là. Viens, Lilith. Viens par ici. Très bien. On va prendre une belle photo. Vous savez, Madame van der Leyen, elle a 7 enfants. Elle n'a pas du tout peur de vous. Venez par là. Regardez par ici. I have to show this one. Ah, yeah, you have your own. Thank you. Les enfants montraient, regardez.
Ça, c'est joli. Et qu'est-ce qu'il y a là-dedans?
C'est beaucoup plus gourmand.
C'est des bonbons. Ah,
Yes, it's good for. It's quite. We still want you to play with it, so we fixed it a little, but we still. Mrs. President, thank you. Chag Sameach. Thank you for being here. Chag Sameach. We're going to go this way. I think it's time to light. We'll be lighting soon. This is what President said. And we are going to be hearing right now from Rabbi Margolin, and after we're going to be hearing from our Burgmestre, Philippe Claus, and after that we'll be lighting. Menachem, please, the floor is yours.
Madam President of the European Commission, Excellencies, Mayor, Ambassador of Israel, Mr. Boucher, ladies and gentlemen. In 2023, Madam President, you stood here with us and you warned that an old evil is returning to Europe. Madam President, I say it with deep regret. That evil has exploded. It is here. We see it. We feel it. We live it. And on the first night of Hanukkah, it claimed 15 lives in Sydney. And since October the 7th, anti-Semitic hatred has taken Jewish lives across 5 continents. And yet, what do we hear in response? The same debate, the same sympathy, the same concern, or if I would like to be honest, many empty words. Ladies and gentlemen, we are tired of it. We are tired of being told the Jewish life in Europe requires more and more security. Not because security is unnecessary, but because it is necessary. This should not be normal. And this should not be what it means to be Jewish in Europe in 2025. So let me ask you a simple question. What kind of continent is this, where a community, thousands of years old, needs heavy security to celebrate a holiday? The fight against anti-Semitism, ladies and gentlemen, is not a favor to Jews. It is a test of Europe itself, of democracy, of freedom of religion, and of the safety of every minority. This is why we need action, not words. We need, as you rightly said, Madam President, binding European legislation against anti-Semitic incitement, including online. We need real enforcement at the EU and national level. And we need formal recognition of the Jewish people as a protected minority under EU and national law. It means that security that is planned, funded and guaranteed by the states, not paid by the victims. It means our faith and practice are not attacked by law that dictate how we eat or whether we circumcise. It means school teach about us, our roots, our values, our past and our future. It means Jewish schools, culture centers and museums are properly supported and funded. It means our heritage is not hidden behind fences and armed guards, but celebrated and cherished as part of Europe's story. It means the Jewish right to live and the Jewish way of life are no longer up for debate. This is not about privilege. It is about the survival of a people and the integrity of a continent. It is about saying clearly the Jewish right to live as Jews in Europe is not up for negotiation. Madam President, you understood this in 2023 and you understand it today. And we thank you for your leadership and for standing with us, even when it came at a cost. Let us craft a Europe where Jewish children do not have to hide their necklaces, where a kippah is not an act of courage. Friends, I see here the spirit of the Jewish people, shining as it always has. I see the hope and promise of Hanukkah in every single face. I see a people who will never surrender to darkness. We are people with hearts like those of the Maccabees are filled with faith, conviction, and a commitment to a better tomorrow. This is who we are. We build, we shine, and our flame, no matter how small it is, will never be diminished. Thank you very much and happy Hanukkah.